Hello, Steve Mills here, and welcome to another live stream. It's great to have you here, and I really thank you for your time in being here. I always appreciate people's time, and I try to make sure that I provide some great value in the time that you're here. Today's live stream is a little bit different. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, to be honest, because it's called How to Make Sure Your Website is a Total Waste of Time and Money and Effort. And it's based on this book, which I just love the title of. It's by a guy called Steve McDermott, How to Be a Complete and Utter Failure in Life, Work and Everything. I read this and I came up with this idea of sort of using that theme as a subject. So how to make your website a total failure, really, is what this is about. So there are two things that you need to do, that you need to focus on if you want a website that doesn't create leads, that doesn't create sales, and really is or was just a waste of time. The first thing you need to do is to make sure that your website doesn't convert. Because, you know, if you're not careful, you're going to get people go to your website, find your website somewhere and somehow, and then make an inquiry or indeed buy something from your website. And you don't want to do that, do you? You know, this is about how to be a total failure with your website. So you need to make sure that your website does not have anything on it that would get people to sign up for something or to buy something. Make sure that your titles are really boring. Things like, you know, about us or our services. There's two good examples of boring headlines that you might want to use. Make sure that you're not really advising people and helping people with things like having a blog and stuff like that. And make sure that, you know, you're not using things like, you know, video, because video improves conversion rate. So you don't want to do that, because you don't want to get any leads. Also, things like having testimonials on there, they can be really good at getting increasing leads. So definitely don't include testimonials. One other thing about the pages, if you've really got to have a call to action, which I don't recommend you do, but make sure it's right down at the bottom of the page where nobody goes to, so that, you know, you'll hardly get any conversion. So there are a few tips on that. The second thing that you really mustn't do is to get traffic to your website. You know, traffic, if you get enough people there, even if your site is awful, then you know, somebody's probably going to buy or make an inquiry. You know, even if you've got a website that just says, you know, phone this telephone number if you want to know about marketing, for example, you know, somebody might phone, and you don't want that. So you really don't want to get traffic. So, you know, people who want to succeed will do things like they'll include links on their social media, they'll use email, they'll do search engine optimization, they might even advertise their website. And they're all things that you really want to avoid, because you don't want to win any business from your website. In fact, you want to use a saying that I've heard literally hundreds and hundreds of times, and that is this: I don't expect to win business from my website because it's just a brochure site. Now that's code word for I'm going to do nothing to get anybody visit it, and I'm going to do nothing to get people to inquire, to increase the conversion rate. So they're the two things, they're the two problems that you've got. You've got the problem of traffic, which you want as fewer people visiting your website as possible, and you want conversion as low as you possibly can, so that even if you do get a few people, they're probably not going to convert. And that's how to have a total and utter waste of money website And, I wish you every success with that. Now, if you don't want that, guess what? Get in touch. Give me a shout. I'd love to see and have a conversation with you about how if you do want to be successful with your website, how you could do that. I've been doing that for over 30 years now, helping businesses to become more successful, and we can set up a meeting. But don't do it because you don't want that. So thanks very much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you.